All right, so currently it is 7:55 on December 2nd, 2025. And I just want to make this video because I want to talk about, just my journey. A lot of you have been watching my videos and watching my trading camp series, but I never really told you guys like my story and how I got to this point in my trading career, right? So just a little bit about me. My name is Mike Lito. My real name is Mike, like Mike Anderson, but I go by the name Lito, and I got that name in college, but that's a whole nother story. But if honestly, go Google the name Lito, and then you'll kind of see why is my name now. But look in the Urban Dictionary version too. But like I said, I got started trading in 2019, so I've been doing it for about 6+ years now, or a little under 6 years. And now consistently I make around 40 to 50K a month trading. And like, it wasn't really always like this, right? So like, you probably watching this video, you probably experienced some of the things that I experienced through my career, right? Throughout my journey. So that's why I want to make this video, just so you guys can get a little bit better understanding. So just to go back in time, 2019, I was in college. I was a senior in college. And mind you, I was in college, like I graduated high school in 2013. So it took me 6 years to get a 4-year degree. I got my bachelor's in mechanical engineering technology. I went to Indiana State University. And when I went there, before I even got into college, like when I graduated high school, I literally had like a 2.0 GPA. I didn't have good grades, I just had like C's. And when I graduated, even like during my senior year in high school, I didn't have good grades, so I wasn't even prepared to go to college. So during the last month of school, I was like, well, let me go apply to a college and see if I can get accepted. But I never was told, or never really took it serious on applying for colleges, because that's something that you do like the beginning of your senior year or even your junior year. So fast forward to that, I could not get accepted to any universities. So I had to start off at sorry. I had to start off at a Ivy Tech. So Ivy Tech Community College, I'm pretty sure y'all familiar with that. I had to go there first, and then I had to get decent grades so that I could transfer to a university. So I went to Ivy Tech for 2 weeks, and then I didn't know anything about financial aid. I didn't know none of that stuff. So I ultimately had to drop out because it was like I didn't have the money to pay for it at the time. So then I enrolled at this school called Vincennes University, which is like another community college, but it was like they had like a campus and they had like dorm rooms and stuff. Unlike Ivy Tech, like Ivy Tech really don't have like dorm rooms. So I went there. It was around 4 hours away from like my house at the time. So I pretty much just packed up everything. Once I got my acceptance letter in the mail, literally was like January 2nd, and classes started like January 10th. And I got my acceptance letter in the mail after having to sit out that semester at Ivy Tech. And then I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just take the leap and I'm gonna go, just because like I'm not doing anything at home. Literally, I was just at home. I didn't have like a real job. Like I worked at Kids Foot Locker, but obviously that doesn't pay too well. So I just packed up my stuff and I just went, and I took a leap of faith. And then fast forward to there, I went there for a year, and then I was able to get good grades and transfer to Indiana State. And then once I went to Indiana State, I then I actually got kicked out of college because one of my roommates, he got in a fight on campus, and then ultimately we got kicked out I got kicked out of school, and I wasn't even the one fighting, it's a whole nother story, but I'm not gonna go too much into that detail because it's really about trading. But ultimately, it took me 6 years to get my degree. So I finished college in the end of 2019, and then spring of 2019. And then once I moved back to Fort Wayne, this is where I got introduced to trading again. So mind you, I had met that girl in college, and she was telling me about it, but I didn't really know, too much about it. Then when I moved back to Fort Wayne, I had got me a job in a factory. So the reason why I got me a job in a factory is because after I graduated college, I could not find a job. Literally, I could not find a job to save my life. So mind you, I graduated with my bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and I would go to interview after interview after interview after interview. And every time, like, they would say my resume was, cool. Like, I didn't really have like too much stuff on there, but it just, like, it was enough to get an interview. And then when I got there and did the interview, I don't know if it was my interview skills, or I don't want to say it's the color of my skin, but it could have been, or it could have just been my interview skills, whatever the case may be. But ultimately, I went to like 10 job interviews and didn't get any of them. So at that time, I was just living at home, and I didn't have a job. I didn't have any money coming in. So this is where, like, my dad was like, well, you need to do something, like, you can't just sit around the house. So my cousin at the time, well, not at the time, but my cousin, he was like, you can come work where I work at, and just get your foot in the door, because they have engineers, because he worked at a factory. So he was like, you can just start, get your foot in the door and probably potentially become an engineer. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll apply there. I applied, I got the job, but mind you, this is a factory, and like, they accepted felons, and like, like, it wasn't like a good job. It was decent paying, but it wasn't like, like the best job in the world. So I had started working there, and the very first day that I started working there, I told the supervisor, like, hey, like, I got my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. I just graduated, so like, if y'all ever need, somebody, a new engineer, that, like, can I interview for the role? So I let that be known from the jump. And then, so fast forward like 6 months, well, not even 6 months, I would say probably like 3 months. I was like, talking to the supervisors and telling my team leads, like, hey, I want to do this. So I applied online at the job that I already worked at. So I applied online for the engineering role because I seen it come available. And then so one day I was at work, and it was like, they reviewed your application, they wouldn't give you an interview. And then when I got the interview, it was more so like they interviewed me so I would stop asking, because when I got in there, the dude that was interviewing me, he was like, wait, you're Michael? He was like, oh, I didn't know this was you. And I'm like, wait, what? So then it was just kind of like a slap in the face, like, bro, like, I've been here, I work hard, I show up to work every day, and y'all not really giving me a job. So, well, y'all not giving me a better role than, I'm more qualified for this role than what I'm doing. Because I was just like a machine operator. I used to press buttons. So, long story short, once I had got that job and I was working there, one of my best friends, he had told me his uncle was doing trading. So he told me his uncle was doing, he called it the forex thing. He's like, yeah, my uncle doing this forex thing. He was like, the same thing old girl that's been doing that went to the school that I went to. So I'm like, okay, let me, revisit it. And he was like, yeah, bro, my uncle, he make like $1,000 a day trading. And I'm like, damn, $1,000 a day, bro? Like, that sounds crazy. Like, if I had $1,000 a day, I'd be set for the rest of my life. So then I'm like, bro, tell me, like, ask your uncle, can we, like, can he teach us or whatever? So then it was me, my best friend, and my other best friend. Like, mind you, like, this been our crew since high school. Like, we all been friends since, we're really damn near middle school, since the 6th grade. And it's been my crew, and we was like, all right, we gonna go, we gonna see what it's about, and then we gonna, try to start it all together. So we went to his house, and mind you, at the time, like I said, I'm from Fort Wayne. It's a small town, so he lived in the high rises of Fort Wayne, and it's not like the high rise that I used to live in Dallas, like 40 floors. It was like high rise, like that was like 12, 15 floors, and at the time it was just like, these are the best apartments in Fort Wayne. So we went over there, and when we literally got to his house, it was like laptop, computer, laptop, like it was laptops and computers everywhere. And then all on the screens, it was just, charts. And then we got there, and he was like, yeah, I wait for this line across and this indicator to tell me to do this. And he was just giving me like all of these like terms I didn't know about. And at the time, like, I literally didn't know anything about trading, so I was just like, okay. He was like, yeah, when these two lines cross and this Mocha Cloud does this, and he used to talk so fast, it was just funny. And he was basically saying, like, all right, if y'all want to get started, all you got to do is go watch these videos, and then once y'all finish the videos, y'all can come over and we can trade London session and we can get started. So I'm like, all right, bet. Like, this is, like, if you say make $1,000 a day, all right, bet. And I believed him, because he had a nice crib, had all the laptops. and all of that stuff. So then fast forward, so this is where I made the decision in trading. Like this is where like we actually talk about the trading aspect. So the day we got started was probably like September or like November-ish 2019. And then I had made the decision that day that I was going to go all in. Like I'm like, all right, bro, I want to make $1,000 a day, so I'm gonna go all in with this, and I'm just going to, figure it out. So he had told me to watch all of the videos. So every day from work, I will come home and, oh, hold on, my TP. I don't know if y'all can see it, but my TP just got hit. But I used to come home every day from work and I will play the game with those same best friends that I was just telling about. We will always play 2K Rec. Like we would literally play NBA 2K every single day. Like that was my life. Go to work, come home, eat, shower, play the game till I was sleepy, and then go wake up and do it all over again. So I had made the decision at time. I was like, obviously I'm not living the life that I want to. I went to school for 6 years and I can't even find a good job that I enjoy. I can't even I'm just barely getting by. I was making probably like $500, $600 a week. And I mean, that's decent money, but it was like, I don't have no time freedom. I can't do whatever I want to. I can't, I'm a slave to this job ultimately. So I had made the decision that, all right, I'm gonna watch a video every single day that I come home before I get on the game. So before I actually had the pleasure of playing, 2K, I had to actually put in some work first. So I had to make some sacrifices and say, all right, I'm gonna do this before I play the game, or before I go, hang out with my friends, or before I go out partying on the weekends. Like I need to study. So it got to the point where I would study so much that, like, but mind you, my friends, we all got started at the same time. So we got started with it wasn't IML at the time. It was a different network marketing company. So we had signed up, we paid, I think it was $99 to get started. And then it was called Trader actually. And then, so we paid the $99. Like I said, he had told us to watch all of the videos. So we watched all of the videos, and then we had, like I said, I was saying I was gonna make those sacrifices. So then it got to a point where I would watch videos and I would hit up my friends when we got on the game. I'm like, what video y'all on? Like how is everything going? And then it got to a point where my friends began to fall off. So this is like a couple weeks past, maybe a month or so. And then I'm like, y'all watch the video? Cause I had told the crew, I had set the tone, like, bro, before we get on the game, we need to watch these videos so we can hurry up and get rich. So then fast forward a couple months or a couple weeks, and then I would check in, what video y'all on? And they'd be like, bro, I ain't even watch a video today, man. And I'm like, bro, then why you on the game? Why ain't you doing the things that, you said we was gonna do? And then one of my friends, he was like, nah, bro, eventually he was like, this ain't for me. I don't really want to do it. But mind you, he was a rapper, so it's he can do his own thing because that's the passion that he has. So I respect him saying that he didn't want to do it. So then my other best friend, he didn't really necessarily take it as serious that I would say that I took it, but he still was dibbling and dabbling, but he just wasn't as laser focused on the videos like I was. So then that led me to ultimately watching all those videos. That led me to, of course, social media and my phone. So I would literally scroll. Oops, I don't even want my flashes on. I would literally scroll on my Instagram, and I would see stuff about trading because once you start learning about something, or once you start talking about something, you start seeing on social media. So I would start seeing all these people saying they was making 20K a month, 100K a month, Chairman 500, and I'm like, what is that? And mind you, like I said, I didn't start with IML. And then fast forward, I seen all these kids, young people, 20 years old, posting. And mind you, at the time I was 25, I'm 30 now. And I would see all these kids post, and I'm like, bro, how the hell are they making 100K a month? And they was saying Chairman 500, Chairman 100, Chairman 50. And I was just like, all right, all of these people that look just like me, they making all of this money from trading. I'm like, all right, bet. So then That led me down the rabbit hole of going searching on YouTube, searching, Instagram, and eventually it led me to some Telegram chats. So this is where the story gets like real. This is where the story gets like real good, and it led me to some Telegram chats. So mind you, I had left the Tradera company. I left that little thing because I felt like it was like a whole bunch of old people, and like nobody was really like young and hip. And I was like, I can't really learn from all these old people. Like, it was crazy. But mind you, on top of that, let me talk about this first. So when I was in that company though, like one of my old middle school teachers, she used to have these things in her classroom. So when I was in Fort Wayne, she would have these meetings in her classroom after hours, and we would have like meetings where we would talk about trading. So I had met this one girl that was a sister of the girl that I originally had met. She used to like trade full time, like she'd been doing it for a long time. So she was like the GOAT in the city of like trading. And then like she used to host these things in that classroom with that teacher. So I would go and I would just like learn about trading. And then eventually it got to a point where I would host them myself. So I used to host free classes inside of a classroom. It was like 4 or 5 people I would literally put on my Facebook, like, come join this, come learn more about it. Cause I was still learning, and like I wanted people around me to, learn more about it as well. So I used to do those things. And then eventually I transferred over to IML because, like I said, I seen a whole bunch of young people do it, and I was just kind of like, I was kind of like persuaded by like seeing the young people do it. So then let's fast forward to me being an IML. That led me to, of course, Telegram chats and all these group chats, so forth and so on. When I came across this group chat, I don't know how I got in it, but one of my friends or one of the people in the IML was like, bro, y'all should check out this dude. Like, his content is crazy. So I went to the Telegram chat, and it was this dude named Clint. And Clint was like, he was probably like 35-ish or whatever. So he was a little bit older than me, but he was still young enough where I could resonate. And then this is where I met my mentor. So Clint mentored me in a sense for a little bit. I had took his 3-day boot camp. This is where I learned impulse correction continuation. And then on top of that, when I was in his Telegram chat, I used to see this one girl post, and like she used to drop her Zoom links in the Telegram chat every Sunday. So I clicked on one, just joining one time, and this is where I met my mentor, Jessica Lane. And I clicked on it, and then I'm like, dang, who is this young girl? Like, she breaking down trading, but it's way more, like I can resonate with this because she's speaking in a language that I can understand. So when I was in the other companies, like, of course, like I couldn't really understand what they was actually saying because they didn't break it down or articulate it in a way that I could understand. So I would watch her videos, and then I seen that she would post every Sunday, and I'm like, wow, like she consistent, and she would post. So I just started binge watching every single video. And I'm like, dang, this lady really knows what she's talking about, because she will tell you where the market is about to go, and then the market will literally go there. So I'm like, all right, I got to invest in her mentorship, because obviously she literally come on here week in and week out and tell you where the market is going. So then ultimately, that was back in, I think I took her mentorship in 2020. I think it was 2020. So right after I finished her mentorship, and if you go back to like the very first video on my page, like you'll see like this is when I quit my job. So in 2020, after this was before I took her mentorship, I was making around like $100, $150 here and there trading. And I can't believe I left this part out of the story. So this is when COVID hit. So y'all know, if you've been paying attention in the world, 2020 was when COVID hit. So during 2020, we had a shutdown at my job. So the factory that I was working at, we had a shutdown on our job. And then ultimately, like we didn't go to work for like a month. So during that month, I was trading, and I was like, bro, like I'm making the same amount of money in a day that I will make at work. So like I used to make, I think I made like $16 an hour or something like that. So times that by 8, so 16 times 8. 16 times 8 is 128. So I was making anywhere from $100 to $150, and I'm like, bro, like I'm making more here, like sitting at home, than I was making at my job. Now, mind you, it was a little bit of inconsistency because it was like up and down. I make 150 there, then lose 100, and you know, it was like it wasn't no consistency. But I still had the vision of like, damn, bro, like I'm really making this amount. So why don't I just focus on this instead of going to work? So when they called us back to work, mind you, like I said, I had a whole month off, and I'm like, bro, I cannot go back to this job because I've been trading for the last, month or so, and I've been making more. So it's really no point of me going back to this job. And I would literally, when I would be at my job, I would be so depressed. Like I would be like, because they even moved me to third shift. So when they moved me to third shift, it was just like, bro, I cannot take this anymore. Like I literally cannot do this. And long story short, damn, I forget even got where I was going with it. But long story short, I had quit my job in 2020, and I was just like, I'm gonna take a leap of faith. Like I'm going to, just go all in on trading. I'm not going to go back to the shop. And my dad and my mom, they was literally like scared. They was like, bro, like, they ain't say bro, but they were like, you should rethink this. What if you lose money, this, and that? And I was like, I believe in it enough that I'm going to quit. So mind you, I quit back in April of 2020. And then I took that mentorship with Jessica. But ultimately, like I was already, like I already had knew a lot of the stuff that she had taught me because I was on her calls for so long. Like I used to be on her free YouTube calls for so long. And that's like a lot of y'all watch my free YouTube content now. And it's like you on that verge. So like when she used to teach me, it was like, I already know what the trend line is. I already know structure. I already know fibs. It was more so like her giving me a mindset of like thinking in a way that could be consistently profitable. And that's when I started reading books. That's when I started diving into self-development. That's when I started really tapping into my faith. And that's when really everything began to change, because it wasn't about like me knowing the information. It was the mindset and my perception of how I was supposed to be approaching these things. So long story short, after I did that, then we moved into 2021. I started to do little jobs on the side because I got to a point where I started to stress out with trading. Like I used to stress because I had to make the money because simply I didn't have a job. So like I would stress out. It would cause me to overtrade, sometimes over leverage, and then I blew an account. And then it was just like, damn, like I don't want to have to like not worry about paying the bills. So I picked up a job where I can work on my own time. This is when I started to do like freelancing, like locksmith, and then I would do DoorDash from time to time. So like both of those things where I could work on my own time, and it wasn't like a set 9-to-5 job. So then it got to a point where I was just like, all right, like I can do these jobs here and there, and then I can really focus on trading without having to stress, because my bills at the time, like I was probably, I had a car note and then my rent, like that was it. Like I had moved to Indianapolis and my rent was like, I want to say my rent was like $1,500. So a car note and $1,500. So it was like, okay, $2,000 a month. That was like my overhead. And I'm like, all right, I can make that DoorDashing, or I can make it, doing the locksmith stuff. So then it allowed me to go all in on trading. So I would just focus on not just learning the information, but I would focus on the real deep psychology aspect and really mastering my mind and mastering myself. So not only was I studying the charts, I was reading books and learning more about money, because I had a firm belief that if I was going to make a lot of money in the side of market, I had to learn how money works inside the world. Like I had to have a different viewpoint of money. I had to learn about compounding, because ultimately if I was, I had money in my account, I had to scale it. Like I had to learn how to be able to compound it in a smart way. And then I also had to think about like just my spiritual side and who I was, because I understood that trading wasn't just a reflection, like trading was a reflection of who I was as a person. So if I was being impatient and not waiting on my entry or my setups, then it was going to reflect. Or if I'm not patient in real life, it was going to reflect. So then the end of 2020 and 2021, or the beginning of 2021, that's when I really began to start to get the ball rolling. So at this point, I was making, like $1,000 a day, $1,500 a day. And then I got to the point where I just began to slowly scale, but I kind of like stayed at that little like range for like a year because that was what I was overall comfortable with. And now, fast forward, it's 2025, and I make anywhere from like 10 to 15, some on a good week, about 20K a week. So that's around like 40, 50, sometimes 60K in a month. And one of my best months was around like 80K. So it's just like now I'm able to scale it slowly. It's not like I'm not trying to get rich, overnight. I'm not trying to, make $1 million in one trade. Like, even though that's the goal, but this is just like where I'm at in my journey. And I know a lot of you watching, you probably like are probably in the same situation that I was, a few years ago. You're probably working and, going through the motions. So the best thing that I can say for you guys is just like focus on the task at hand and make sure that you're actually making sacrifices. Like, actually find out who it is that you are and allow that to reflect on, like allow yourself to really reflect on what it is that you want and what version of yourself is going to take to get those things that you want. So you might have to sacrifice, leaving your friends alone. Like, I moved to Dallas in 2022, 2020. Shit, I don't even know how long I've been in Dallas. It's 2025. I think I've been here for 3 years. So when I moved to Dallas in 2022, that's when I was hitting those 10K months, 15K months. And I was just like, all right, bet, like, I'm good now. Like, I'm making six figures at this point. And it's just like, when you in your journey, you can't really see all this stuff on social media. Even though, like, I'm telling you how much I made, like, don't focus on what I make, focus on how I got there. So like I said, mastering myself, this is where I really would dive in on really figuring out who I was. And I had to, it's so crazy, like I had to let so many people go. Like, even my friends to this day, like, they my best friends and I love them to death, but it's like I had to make a sacrifice and up and leave them. Like, that was, like I said, my homie since the 6th grade, but it's like we wasn't on the same frequency. Like, I wanted things that they didn't want. So like, when you're in your journey, you might have to leave your friends, and not say don't be friends with them, but like, you might just have to get away from your situation. You might have to leave a girl. You might have to separate yourself from your family or your parents or whatever the case. It's like you have to make sacrifices in order to get where you want and really like understand and dive into yourself as a overall person. So like I said, my alerts going off on my phone, so I'm checking my trade because, like I said, I'm in a gold trade and it had hit TP1. So let's see how much we're up. Let's see. All right, so currently we are up $5,000, just to show y'all real quick. Hopefully y'all can see. I don't know if y'all can see that, but like I said, we are up $5,000. And then if this trade hits our overall take profit, that would be around $12,000 for this move, and that's just today. So we made $4,000 yesterday on gold sales, and then currently we up $5,000. So if this goes to the highs, like I mentioned, this will be around 12K for the move, and then I'll pretty much be done for the week, right? So like, I don't know why I put my feet there. I'll pretty much be done for the week, but it's just so crazy, like, to look how far I came. And it's crazy. I wanted to do this video, like I was going to do this video in like my McLaren, and I just thought about it, like I had like this discernment. It's like, it doesn't really matter. Like, yeah, I could flex my McLaren. I could go do a video on my BMW X6M, like, but none of that stuff matters. What really matters is y'all really resonated and understanding like what it actually takes. So when I was in my journey, like, even when I'm going back to when I was like doing my mentorship with Jess, like, I had to stop. I stopped trading for 12 weeks. She made me stop trading for 12 weeks, and I literally just focused on being a better version of myself and my entries and really diving into my psychology. And so it's like, it's going to take some sacrifices for y'all to get to where y'all want to be. And I'm not even nowhere any close to where I want to be. Like, I want to make freaking $1 million a month, like 2 million, 10 million, 15 million, 20 million. Like, I want to hit those numbers, but like, this is just where I'm at right now. And it's, like I said, it's December 2nd, 2025. And this is just my journey as a trader. And honestly, 2026 has been honestly one of probably my best years trading. Well over multiple six figures. And it's like, I don't even know how I got here, bro. Like, I used to be bad. Like I told y'all, I didn't even get accepted into college. My friends, like, I grew up on the south side of town, and like, not saying it's the ghetto, but it's like, it wasn't, the odds was against me, you know? And the fact that I can make it out to be here today to tell y'all my story. I'm in my estate. I mean, if y'all watch my videos, y'all probably see around the house, but I don't really gotta, show y'all that. And I don't even have to talk about the things that material wise, because what matters most is like my level headedness and my mind and like my wiseness. And that's what really matters the most. Like, all of the material stuff, it really don't matter. Like, I want y'all to really like take what I'm saying and really understand, like, it's all a journey, like, it's a journey to get to where you at. And you really have to understand yourself and put in the work to learn yourself and master yourself, so that you can take the things that you learn about yourself and apply it to your trading. Like, I know that I'm not a scalper because I don't like fast little increment things where I don't have time to think. I like to think and then be able to process it and then be able to make a decision. But also, I don't like to swing trade because I don't like to hold on for things for very long periods of time. Like, I don't want to hold on to a thought for 2 or 3, 4 or 5 days or even weeks. Like, I don't want to do that. And it's just me learning me. So when I take my trades, they're more so intraday trades. Like, even this gold trade I'm in, I have gold going way up, but that trade probably won't play out until next week. And it's like, I'm not about to hold it. I'll take my trades and get little bits of pieces of the pie before we get to our overall take profit. It's like bus stops. Like, get off here, get off here, get off here, get off here, so forth and so on. So I feel like I've been yapping for a long time, but I just want you guys to learn a little bit more about me. Make sure y'all go watch Trading Camp 1.0 and 2.0, because 1.0 has a whole 15 days, and then Trading Camp 2.0, I think we on day 4. So we'll just count this as day 4, or really, what would that be, day 19 of the whole Trading Camp series. So this will just be day 19. It's currently 8:30, and I know I usually upload my videos a little bit earlier, but I'm probably going to upload this video. You'll probably see it around 9 p.m. or, whatever time zone it is for you. But I'm uploading this video late, but ultimately it's just my journey as a trader. And now, like I said, I started back in 2019, and now here I am making 40, 50, sometimes around 60K a month consistently. That's the thing, consistently. So with that being said, make sure I hit that like and subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram too, if y'all haven't already, and just connect. Like, I know a lot of y'all be reaching out in my Telegram chat, and also make sure you join the Telegram chat too, because honestly, I got the best trading community in the world. I call all of my trades, even the gold trade that I took, that I was telling y'all about, I literally called it out, and I made a whole video. So let me play it so y'all can hear it. Gold on overall what we are looking at. So literally this whole video right here, breakdown of what I was looking for gold today, and we're currently up 300 plus pips. So yeah, make sure y'all join that Telegram chat. Like I said, it's free. It's the best trading community in the world, honestly, so in my opinion. So definitely go do that. And then yeah, hopefully you guys resonated with my story, and let me know if y'all like these type of videos. So that being said, chart runners, I love y'all. Make sure y'all just continue to grind, stay focused, and for everybody else, I will see y'all all in the next video. Peace out.